Good evening to everybody, the students of masters, those who are going to write the research proposal. Then I promise that I would like to take the class today. The local time is 9:10 to 10 o'clock of the Tanzania, and I am here ready. Yes, participants, anyone can unmute and read what I posted on the screen. I repeat, participants, anyone can unmute and read what I posted on the screen. Yes, I posted good evening to the students of the masters. You are welcome to my class. Table of contents, they say abstract, introduction, problem statement, purpose of the study, a significance of the research, methodology, research design, instrumentation, data collection, analysis procedure, relevant institutional resources, budget, and reference. These are the things which generally we will follow it in a research proposal. And sometimes no, the budgeting will not be there because nobody is sponsoring you at the time. So the budgeting will not be necessary, depending on the institutions and how we are making it out. Because generally the research, they will ask for the budgeting from the sponsoring faculty or the organization or the NGO or the government. Generally they do it because one cannot make the research with a starving stomach. Yes, participant Raymond, are you hearing me? Raymond Cosmos, are you hearing me? Say yes or no. Yes?
Yes, Prof, I can hear you.
Okay, very good. I appreciate it. Now I told you that instead of teaching to one and separately, better I will take all the students at a time, how they are supposed to write the concept note and what other components should be present when you are writing the research proposal. I already posted you that my article, what I wrote in it, let me throw light on it without wasting the time. So the article which I wrote here is, I put it on the screen. Can you read that? What is the name of the article? Unmute and read.
Yes, Prof. International Journal for Science, Arts, and Commerce.
What is the title of the article? What is the title of the article?
Legal Research Proposal for Students of Law.
Why you are taking so much time? It is joint author publication. He is my student to whom I taught the private international law. Now he is a assistant lecturer and he is doing and completing their PhD. That is Mohammed Masood Khartoum. So in abstract, we need not worry about it. Let me see what are the introduction would be there. How should we start it? Let me see it. As you know, the research is derived from the French word research, R-E-C-E-R-C-H. That is the French word that means to search. And the Latin word is cercare, that meaning to go and round in a circle. Searching again is called research. Continuity would be there for the research. Inquiring the same thing again and again to know what particular thing it is called research. For the verification of the fresh thing, for the supplementary of the prevailing theories by new knowledge, and that is where we can say it is the research. So that is the definition which I have given over there in there. And there are primary authorities are there for the rule of laws. They said disciplines, statutes, rules, regulations, government executive orders, court orders, plus decisions that are binding upon the courts, government and individuals. So when you are writing the research, we have to always think whether there is any statute is there on the part of research, whether there are any decided cases are there, whether the literature is available or the gray area. So we have to think in all the means, then you have to choose the topic. You cannot choose the topic which is having the utopian concept. where you could not have the legislation, where you could not have the cases, where you could not have the research, literature, then it is nothing but fishing in the troubled water. What I said? What I said? Repeat. Fishing in the troubled water. Repeat. Participant. I said fishing in the troubled water. In troubled water, no one can fish it. When the disturbance water is there, no one can fish it. A man will fish it in the stagnant water mostly. So now there are various aspects are there, secondary authorities are there, commentaries are there, primary resources are there, secondary things are there, means sources. And this thing which I made it, there should be a need to reference this in the same wood if it was writing an essay. For example, any article or a book you refer should be footnoted, otherwise it leads to plagiarism. You have to acknowledge the idea. Suppose you did not reproduce the same, but you have given the crux of the idea, but your idea you borrowed from there, hence you should have to acknowledge it. That should be given in the footnote. The earlier style is the endnote, not the present style is the footnote. The author is concerned with the legal research proposal, that aspect only covered in this article. How a legal proposal would be there, and what are the modification you have to do it, and what are the research you have to do it. So an attempt is made in this article to light each other word of the title explanation with the research process, purpose of the legal research, with the complexities, type of the research, brief outline of the legal research proposal, and the elements of the legal research, and a proposal with the details, and ends with the conclusion plus recommendation. This is my article total synopsis. So now let us go to the point. Research process is concerned. There are many ways of the research process. That the formulate a research plan and consult a secondary sources, consult the primary sources, and expand the primary laws, and update the primary laws, analyze and organize them in the result. Are you hearing me? Say yes.
Yes, Prof.
Yes. What is the primary source in the research? If you don't know it, says pass on.
Pass on, sir.
A primary research means latest information, like taking the views of the experts, target groups, going questionnaires, asking them, observing them, getting the latest information is primary sources. Secondary sources, which are printed one, generally will come into the secondary sources. Then you can say that when the research article sometimes is the primary source, sometimes is the secondary source, because they are already printed. But what they printed is the primary source. But later it become a secondary source. But if the time takes over there, yes, it will be a outdated data. So primary source means the latest information, the current one, which is going on over there, is said to be the primary source generally. Secondary sources, which are printed one, like the books or the dictionaries are same. Of course, there are tertiary sources also there. There's colonial digest. So some things will come in the tertiary sources. And modern legal research, how it goes, that I given. Because if a person doesn't have the computer savvy, then he could not do a research in a full-fledged manner. I repeat, a person who does not have the computer savvy, he could not do the research in a perfect manner. Now, everything is a digital world. Now, nobody would refer the physical books because the e-books are available. Is it clear?
Yes, Prof.
Good. So types of the legal research. Because it's an article, that's why I told you theoretical research is there, applied research is there, action research is there, interdisciplinary research is there, evolution research is there. The legal research can also be classified based on the sponsorship, such as the institutional or sponsored research and academic or doctoral research. So different type of the research will be there. If the government sponsors it, if you do a research and prepare a report, then we can say it's a report. And if it is a journal that you are publishing it, then you can say it's an article or research article. Suppose if you are making for the partial fulfillment of your degree is concerned, we can say either it is a dissertation or a thesis. Am I right? Now let us see
Yes, Professor.
let us see the research proposal. Read the research proposal, read this point.
Brief outline on the research proposal. Conducting a research work or study in whatever specialization in simple or complicated things, how simple or complicated it might be, largely depending on how much information a researcher has in the area he or she intended to conduct a research or study. The researcher, in whatever circumstances, is obliged to have either gathered or collected much information widely helping him on or her to conduct the research work or study intended in a successful manner.
Yes,
In a similar point,
enough. See, whenever you want to do a research, first you find whether you have a lot of material in it or not, whether there is any legislation is there or not, whether there is anybody has made an attempt in a different angle or not, whether there is a journal articles are there or not, the literature available is sufficient. If the sufficient, what way they did it and what way that we have to proceed. The same thing you should not supposed to say. The idea may be the same, but the presentation may be the different. Because your angle is different in the presentation. And the angle which he did it is a different one. And you can lead to the different situation, a different result if you go in a different angle. So in a similar point, however much information obtained are collected by the research is just one side of the coin. If you merely having the research material with you, you cannot do the research because it should be put it in a systemized manner, navigation. So it is the one side of the coin is you have to get a lot of information, gather the data. It is the one side of the coin. Since even though the researcher may well be knowledgeable about the what he or she wishes to conduct research about, which is regarded as the substance of the research of study. Next important thing is, which must be borne in mind, is the methodology of the research of study intended to be carried out. How the methodology would be followed? The methodology would be followed depending upon the nature of the problem. In this case, the researchers must well alert that having a substance of the research study that one can think and methodology be well applied, impacting the meaning of the said substance in a matter which be carefully be dealt. Every researcher is expecting to conduct the meaningful research study in particular specialization. So methodology is a different factor where you can go through and whatever the information that you collected it put it in a particular slat. And presentation is very important, the way you want to present it. So here they said, indeed important to understand that conducting research study is not a matter of completion of a task in a day. It is not a day. It is not in a week, months and a year. That's why the people say, Rome is not built in one day. What they say? What they say? What is meant? Rome is not built in one day. In the same manner, a research cannot be made in a day or week, month or It takes years also. Of course, not more than 3 years or not more than 4 years. There is a limitation that you can make it out. Because sometimes there is a pre-PhD is there, some places there is no pre-PhD is there. So depending upon that factor also, we can make it out how many years you are supposed to complete the research. So that is the proposal research methodology. It is a very important factor. One should have to not forget in it. And then only that you can present your ideas in a better manner. Yeah, then next comes to the point here is conducting the research. Bearing this mind, what had been earlier stated, there are a number of issues that should be carefully considered by the researcher while preparing the research proposal as indicated here under. What he should have to take the variables and what are the things should be conducted in the research. Number one, knowing the element of the research proposal. What are the elements should be there in the research proposal? Then one should have to very thoroughly understand it. The second point is understanding the essential or components of each and every element of the research proposal. Not only knowing, but understanding the actual essence of it, or actual what are the components of each every element of the research proposal. And that is also understanding is a very important factor. The third factor is understanding how each component of the essential of the research proposal fit or relates with the research intended to be carried out. Whatever the understanding would be there, the component that you found it, how far it is relevant to your research topic. Relevancy, proposal, whether it's fit, the components that you gathered, the information that you gathered are related with the research intended to be carried out. So the research which we are going to be carried out and whether it is relevant data or not, it should be understood and carefully it should be avoided unnecessary data. The fourth one is understanding and collecting full information relating to the title, from where you got it, the topic, the research study, and where it is published, reading good number of the literature, and embarking into the task of writing the research proposal. Before you are writing, you have to make the literature review. How many people work on it? How many journals are published on this topic? Either latest clipping is there or not. Is scientific journals, how far they carried that on that particular topic. And here it is important to note that some components of the research proposal cannot be easily tackled, answered based on the imaginative or brain thinking capacity. And sometimes, no, it is a brain thinking capacity to be there. You can brainstorm it to come to a particular conclusion in certain respect to see that it is justifiable by using the logic and reasoning. Rather, it is only a useful information obtained in the various literature consulted by the researcher. So, literature review plays an important role to see that how far that on particular topic the various people has worked on it and how you are going to work. Whether it is the same work that you want to make it out, or your proposal or your result will be having a different notions and angle. To answer the above issues, which are about for the research to understand all the elements of research proposal, these are as follows. So the first component is there, the research title. When a title is there, again you have to go, what would be the introduction for the title? The introductory part you have to write it. And how the title is very much viable, whether the title is from the international law or the commercial law or the intellectual property law, in which branch of law, whether it is the public law or private law, and these are things which come under the introduction, and how far it will be benefit to the country, academician, students, and other researchers. This thing should be come under the introduction. Is it clear? Is it clear? Answer. Why are you not hearing me? Fraten Temba, could you hear me? Raymond Cosmas, if you keep Kimia, if you don't give the reply, I cannot further proceed. I told you already, my tongue is tied, my hands are handcuffed, my legs are fettered if I don't get the reply from your side.
Yes, we can hear you, Professor.
But why you are not giving the answer? Why are not giving the answer? Unless I can get the answer from you, I cannot proceed.
Network,
So,
sir, network.
introduction, don't keep only 50 MB. Keep the at least 100 MB, 150 MB. Otherwise, it cannot catch it. Let us come to
Okay,
the
Professor.
introduction. In which topic that you are taking the research? Is it a public international law or private? Is it substantial law or procedural laws? How far it is viable? How far it is useful in the market, the present situation, to the study, to the research, or to the government, or to the nations? This will come under the introduction, general introduction. The background to the problem, the statement of the problem. See, these are the components and the significance of the study, objective of the study. There is one general objective or two or three variables of the specific objective. Then the literature review, how to make it out. Then you can come to the hypothesis. But in some places, they write the hypothesis first and the literature review later. You cannot, your wife cannot conceive it without the BBC. So the BBC is first, net conceiving is later. That is the sequence. Is it
Professor,
clear?
others the BBC. It is.
Sequence should be followed. BBC, you know it, body to body contact. So, okay, you follow the way that is followed by the university. But I told you already that university regulations, guidelines are very obsolete, outdated. So this is the sequence which I given is the proper sequence. Research methodology, limitation and scope of the study also you can make it out when once you complete the total study at the time, the limitation will come into the picture. But certain limitation, definitely you can forecast it. And if it is a sponsored one, the time, research progress, financial tables, if it is a sponsored one, and this should come in the research proposal. How much money would be needed? How much time would be needed? How much the stationery and the mechanical devices you have to purchase it, to reproduce it, photocopying. So all these things will come because if it is a financial funded one. Then you have to definitely show the chapterization also, because the first chapter is nothing but the proposal, which is said to be the general introduction. The second is, depending upon the topic, you have to make it out. If you want to make it the comparative studies, yes, keep it in the second chapter, comparative studies of particular thing. Tanzania with advanced country like a UK or USA or Australia or Canada, you can make it out, or including India also. And the third chapter, that is the essence of it, what you are going to do it, the third chapter would come into picture. But I told you that social science research, and other research are different pattern. But our research is comes under social science research, and this pattern is a little bit different from the other pattern or format. And some people write the research methodology as a one chapter. No, that is their style. For instance, you take the economics or in others allied subjects, they say research methodology is one of the chapter, and findings is one of the chapter, and last conclusions and recommendations. So that is the style people adapt. but we do adapt the style which is adapted generally in the legal research. So chapterization, third chapter, essence of it, fourth chapter, again the either it based on the case study is there, cases should be dealt in the fourth chapter, both national, international, or any legal framework could be there that can be also be dealt depending upon the topic that you have chosen. And the last chapter always is conclusions and recommendations. Don't write recommendations and conclusion. The first and foremost, conclusion will come, the later on, recommendation will come. And some people write the way forward also. You need not to write. Because if you want to write, okay, you can write. But see that the way forward is very much clear in manner. From there, another person can take up the research. And these are the comes under chapterization. And it should be numbered in systematic manner. Then the bibliography, what you have selected is bibliography, you have to make it out, the sources. And if there are annexes are there, appendices are there like questionnaires, targeted groups, open-end questions, and don't try to avoid the yes or no questions. Because there you could not get it. In other way that you are giving the answer to your question only by yourself. So now let us see what is comes under the introduction one after another. Yes, read what I posted on the introduction. Anyone can unmute and read.
Introduction forms part and parcel of the research proposal of the research or study. The researcher is expected in this part to clearly introduce his or her topic for readers or reviews to understand what exactly the research study conducted included to give what the message.
Intended.
This part basically deals with the following hits for the researchers preparing the research proposal must know as first, bullet, starting clearly as what does the topic title specifically relate to. For example, whatever it is a field of public or private laws, international laws, civil law or criminal law, etc.
Yes,
Second bullet,
that's right. When the topic we have chosen is there, you should have a clear idea. The topic belongs to substantial law, procedural law, or they are the public law, or the private law, or international law, or private international law, or the civil law, or the criminal law. It should be very much clearly mentioned over there in the introduction. Number 2 bullet, read. Read 2 bullet, second bullet. Participants.
The second bullet, the viability of the topic to do the research.
Did you understand what it means?
Person, sir.
Viability, advantage, essence, usefulness, how far it is necessary, and how far it is going to help us, and how far it is viability, existence. Read what is meant by viability. Read what is posted on the screen.
Viability, an interest in the long-term viability of British companies.
Above there is some other thing is there. You did not read.
Noun, ability to work successful.
Ability to work successfully. how far it is needed, how far it is successful, whether it is useful or not, whether it is beneficial to the society, whether it is beneficial to the country, whether it is beneficial to the academic staff, or whether it is beneficial for increasing the GDP of the nation, or how far its application. That is called viability of the research. And next point is, now you know what is meant by viability now? The necessity,
Yes, Prof.
the substantiality, the application of it, the utility of it, the purpose of it, the benefit of it. These are all comes under the viability of the topic to do the research. The third bullet,
The third bullet, stating clearly the nature of the study in relation to the proposed topic at hand.
not study subject, stating clearly the nature of the subject. What is the nature of the subject or topic you have chosen in relation to the proposed topic? Any topic, definitely it belongs to some subject or the course. Is it clear?
Yes.
For
Yes, Prof.
instance, if I take the topic, the remedy available for the breach of a contract in commercial transaction in Tanzania. So what is the subject? Number one, contract.
Consumer.
Number two, business law. Is it or not?
Yes, Prof.
It will be definitely will be attached to some subject. Sometimes it's a interdisciplinary also. The topic which you have taken it. So that is the stating clearly the nature of the subject in relation to the proposed topic at hand you have taken. And that should be covered in the introduction. The next bullet, fourth bullet. What is the fourth bullet? Read.
The fourth bullet, showing any possible relation of the subject. For instance, wherever the proposed topic cover with the national or international laws.
Yes. If you have taken the topic, what is the possibility of the relations? The subject, whether it is the domestic law, national law, or it can be interlinked with the international laws, or it can be interlinked with the another state laws, comparative. And if any depthness is there, if there is discrepancy or lacuna is there, yes, it can be known, and how the lacuna would be solved. So comparative studies with the one state to another state, with the national to the another international. So that is the fourth bullet clearly mentions. So these are all the things come under the say introduction. Is it clear?
Yes.
But why you are not giving the reply? Sir, internet problem. Is it? Say yes.
Yes.
Data would be filled very nicely. No internet problem. Sit at the place where the signals are more. Okay, next is background to the problem. What is comes under the background to the problem? People just write it, it happened like this. No. There are 4 points or 3 points should be highlighted very clearly in the background of the problem. Forming an important part of the research proposal of the research study, the researcher, while preparing the background to the problem, must cover the following components. Read the first bullet.
The researcher intending to carry out the research study must clearly indicate what created him or her in mind about conducting such a research or study.
Yes. Why the researcher wants to conduct the research on the topic and how he got an idea. Whether he got any experience or somebody's experience or nation experience, and why that idea has developed in the mind to do the research. No one can study or write an aspect where he does not have any interest. Sir, I don't do all those things, sir, because I want to write something so that I could get my master's degree. That is not a research. That is a purposive research. The purpose is get to the LLM degree. And you take the plagiarism, change the cover pages, the content is the same, the title is a little difference, name difference, and that is, you cannot say is a research. If you really work hard, you feel very happy when you write it, when you got the degree. The researcher intended to carry out, he should have why he got an idea, what created him, what made him, and who inspired to him to conduct such a research study. Sir, my lecturer has given the topic and I am doing the research. No. At the time you are not doing the research, your lecturer is doing the research. Because it's his idea. Never take the idea. Okay, you can take the guidance from your teacher, but it is you show the material that you have to your lecturer. The lecturer may suggest you, okay, go on this respect because you have all the requirement to do the work, to take the particular topic. That's why I told you, no, don't take a research topic of utopian concept, which at all not existed, which at all there is no literature and there is no conduct of any research, books, titles, authors, case law, or statutes. So, what is the mind behind it to take such a thing? It should be clearly mentioned in the background of the problem. Next bullet, read.
He or she must in this part show as to what made him or her interested to conduct such a research or study.
So, the next point is a researcher must show, indicate or show, throw light at what made him or her interested to conduct. Okay, somebody gave the idea. Some experiences give me the idea. You want to do the research. And you should have also interest in to conduct the research and to navigate it, to proceed it. So that is the second point is there. What made you to interest to conduct such a research? First idea is intention from where you got created your mind. Then second is how it is interested to do so. And that idea, you are interested to do so, conduct the research because it will increase the GDP of the nation, or it will give a justice to the parties, those who are victim of such a offense, or in the international level, it is a competitive to do in a such a way. And these are the things come under the second point. What is interested to conduct the research and how the interest we want to put it over there. Third bullet.
He or she must also indicate as to what inspired, motivated him or her to do such a research or study.
Yes. The first point is idea, how it created in your mind. The second point is what way that interested to continue it. Because the interest is there, because there is a lot of literature is there. The interest is there because they can complete the research with a new idea. Then how it is motivated to you. The motivation comes to you, if I do a research in this one, then it will be the benefit to the community, it is benefit to the nation, it is benefit to the society, and the lacuna will be not there in the law. And the people will get the justice in a right way. So the inspiration, motivation to do such a thing also will be clearly shown. The first is the idea, next is the interest, next is the motivation and inspiration. And you cannot inspire unless you have the lot of literature. You cannot motivate it unless there is a case law would be there. The motivation comes when you have all the elements with you so that you could move or navigate your research in a comfortable manner. Is it? Is it or not?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof.
Yes, it is.
The next bullet.
It is, Prof.
Next bullet you read.
He or she
must
Yeah,
also
indicate
indicate
Raymond, give the
legal
chance to
system.
Aristo. Aristo, you read.
Oh, thank you, Prof. He or she must also indicate as to what has caused the legal system to completely change as a result of the occurrence of the matter for which the research or study is carried out for such purpose.
Yes. A researcher, either he or she, or even a transgender, must also indicate as to what has caused the legal system to completely change as a result of occurrence of that matter. Suppose if we conduct the research on the particular aspect, what would be the changes in the legal system? The system which is having now, it should be repealed or amended to suit, to give justice to the party, and or a new legislation should be made on such a topic because the present legislation will not cover such a topic, and how far it is affects the legal system. A new system will be brought out because of this research. A new idea will be there for the legality way, for the change the legal system, for amend the legal system, or create the new legal enactment as a result of the occurrence of the matter, when the research is fulfilled, completely done, for which the research study is carried out for such a purpose. That means, what would be the impact on the legal system? What changes are brought in the legal system or the legal framework? So these four components should be present in your background of the problem. Is it clear?
Yes.
So
Yes,
you keep
Professor.
as a measure and you can proceed it on those aspects and enlarge your. Then comes, at any time it can be stopped because time is going to up. Your 1 minute or 2 minutes should be there. It is not so easy to write the research. If really you want to do the research, you do have the interest in it and read the articles, how components should be present over there in the research. I made very clearly the bullet points to you. If these bullet points reflect in your side headings, I am sure that it will be a perfect one. Though not 100%, at least 90 to 95%. Because in every research, there are definitely lacunae are there. No research is perfect. Like no man is perfect on this world. If a man is perfect, he will become a muffled, what is it, angel?
An
Angel.
yes.
Angel or a she angel? Malaika. Malaika is
Yes,
for the
Prof.
female. What is for the male?
Yes.
Malaika for the male or female?
For both.
Okay. To err is human being. To err is
Is
Human
human.
a human being only could do that. A person who could not able to walk, there is no possibility of falling down. Is it clear?
Yes.
A crawling man never falls down. Is it clear?
Yes.
Because he is crawling, he is not walking. And when you do a research, definitely there would be lacunae are there, but that lacunae are sometimes very minor, but major definitely they will remove it. So the statement of the problem we will deal tomorrow, or let make an introduction because still 1 or minute, 2 minutes are left over there. At any time it can stop. This is basically what makes a research study to be carried out. Your statement of the problem shows, in most of the cases, for intended research, to acquire its academic credibility, this is an area which mostly the supervisor are interested to look at first. If you are doing this research, what is the academic credibility would be there? The supervisor will think. The supervisor will give you go ahead to the respective supervisees on whether the title is researchable or otherwise after carefully and deeply examining the part of the research proposal. The title itself will give you an idea whether such a research is very much useful or not. If it is useful, how far it is beneficial. On this respect also they will see. Okay, we will continue tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Prof.
Good
Because,
evening,
of
Professor.
course, still 1 or 2 minutes are there. We can go through it also. But
Okay.
always, title should be in a such a way where we will have such a hope that it will have a credibility in the academic research. And it will be very much useful to the nation and that can change the legal system of a particular country. If there is no act would be there, a new act enacted because of your research. To cover it, if there are any lacunae are there in any act. So it is the supervisor will make it out. Of course, that is the reason that we will make it a defending, because his one supervisor approach is maybe different because he doesn't know his own mistakes. It will be pointed out by the another supervisor. So a panel will sit. The panel will come to a conclusion. Yes, the title should be modified in this manner. If not, the student is going to suffer a lot. Whenever the title would be there, it should be narrowed down. It should not be broad aspect. It is narrowed down by keeping the component. It will be narrowed down by keeping the geographical area, that is called territory. And we can also narrow down the elements involved in that. Keeping on that point, we can narrow down it. Otherwise, it is fishing in the troubled water. Is it clear?
Yes.
So, it is also important to note the statement of the problem should consider position of the law in the various aspects. What is the position of law in the various aspects? When you make the comparison, national laws of the different country, are the international laws, are the legal instruments, are the charters, where your state is or community is one of the party in the charter or the treaty. Charter means you ratified it, you signed it, then it will become. Treaty means with your own agreement that you join that treaty. Treaty by the states, charter by the UN, organization or special agencies. And this definitely will make it, the statement of the problem, very much wise. So this is due to the fact that the legal system has been drastically changed from time to time. Definitely, because society's pace, the law pace should be proportionate. If the society advances there, then the law also will be changed, because law is to control the mechanism of the society, or law is the only instrument to change the society. Our society will make changes to the law, and the law would be needed which will be suitable to the society, and the larger the majority of the people will be benefited, and that would be the prevailing law. So the legal system has been how far drastically changes by your work from time to time, and old rules have been replaced by the new ones, and repealed ones are amended. Eventually existing gaps, whatever the gaps would be there in the present legal system, and that gaps can be covered by making the amendments to the legal system in have been accommodated. So your findings will be accommodated, that will be shown in the statement of the problem. Okay, let us see the tomorrow class, how we can deal, because the time is up. But I don't know, the Cisco WebEx is very kind enough, and it is still it is continuing. Otherwise, its limitation is 50 minutes. But sometimes they will forget it, believe, or they will give the extent to the parties. Let them enjoy it. So with this, we'll see and ask the students to come, because such a way teaching, nobody would teach you in the class. It is my open challenge to anybody. The way you have to explain it word by word, sentence by sentence, by giving the examples, and what are the things should be reflected, and one should have to do it. Okay, thank you very much. Please inform the other people also to join, and so that they can also be benefited. And that is my motto, that every person should have to know and feel happy when he writes the LLM dissertation. At least he will be confident that he can guide to the other people also.
Thank
Any
you,
questions
Prof.
to be asked? Any questions to be asked? Yes.
Not for me, no. Maybe for some other person. Oh no, I wanted to have you.
I have no question as well.
I posted to my students to whom I taught in the second semester. You can get that article from them, and they will help you. If
Okay, you said we can get what?
I sent to my student to whom I taught in the second semester the article which I am reading now.
Okay.
What okay? If you are my student, Raymond, are you not my student?
We send the copy.
But you did not see that it is already posted.
Yes, I have received it and I will send it to them.
Yes, please help the other people also. If you help the other
Okay,
people, the God will help you in many folds.
Yes,
Amen,
Prof.
amen.
Okay.
Okay, let me stop
Yeah,
it.
thank you. Okay,
Bye,
enjoy your
goodbye.
night, Prof.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे अहरह तव आभान प्रचारित सुनि तव उदार